Good morning and welcome to Durana Raceway here in Hebron, Ohio. We are here for the third IHRA race of the season and our first one back since the first race in Columbus. Now, if you guys see, we're doing some monumental this weekend. It's going to require quite a bit of work. So there's one car, there's two cars, and let me go over and show you some. And there's a third car. So, people who have been following Terry Haddock Racing for a while might recognize this car. This is the dragster that we sold a couple of years ago, and somehow it showed back up again. My Uncle Bernie, who has been wanting to get in a top fuel car for about ever, has been jonesing to get a top fuel car and get a team and be able to come run these IHRA races. And 3 weeks ago, he made the call that he's going to buy that top fuel car back from the people who bought it. And all of a sudden now there's a top fuel car right next to our pit. This weekend we're running Dad's car with the goal to win the race, holding the Iron Man at the end of the weekend. We're going to run my car one qualifying session as a way to get me a little bit more experience in the car and just get a chance to get some more laps on that backup car. And then we're going to be facilitating running this top fuel car. So this weekend is going to be insanely busy, but also insanely cool, because look at that. That's about the coolest thing you're ever going to see. So right now, both of our funny cars are ready to start. We're going to spin them over on the gas bottle here in a few minutes just to double check everything, and when we get closer to time to run, we'll actually run these cars. And then part of with this dragster, Bernie has a bunch of guys who are all friends that are sportsman racers. So they know something about racing, but we're having to teach them what a different animal nitro racing is. So this weekend, we all get to be teachers, and I've been over here helping put this car together and putting people to work.
Torch in some ways to his son McKailen this weekend. He'll be able to make a pass in qualifying for his first time ever in the IHRA. He said, I've been able to hold the wheel for a long time, but I finally get to try driving. What are the emotions you're experiencing as not only a driver, but also a father?
Pretty proud moment. It's a neat deal. You know, when all of us, or at least with me, when my kid was small, I didn't know if he'd even like racing. He hung around and played with stuff, but he didn't really show a real interest in this until probably the last 3 or 4 years. And then 3 or 4 years ago, he started wanting to work on the car, or he kept saying he wanted to drive. And I said, well, you're not going to drive unless you learn how to work on the car and you stay out of trouble and do good in school. And we've pushed real hard. And on his 16th birthday, I put him in our Nostalgia Funny car, and we started teaching him to drive that. And he did that for a little while, and then he got a little off track, and we had to reel him back in. And over the last year, he's really come a long way. He's worked hard. He's doing great in college. He's getting good grades, so we're going to reward him a little bit. He's also had to go out and earn the money and learn about sponsors and working hard and doing the right thing. So he's earned it. We're going to let him make a run tonight and see how he does.
So he's going to make a run in the backup car. What is the strategy? What if he ends up going out there and throwing a burner down?
Well, I'm the one tuning both cars, so it won't be throwing a burner down. But the idea is to just teach them to learn to do the job. You know, when people watch this on TV, they don't realize how hard it is to drive these cars and to do all the procedures right and act right and be professional, do all the things. So this is just like training wheels, and we're trying to get him used to the deal. You know, maybe next year he can find some sponsorship and we can make a go at it with the two cars. But at the end of the day, this team is a family business. It's me, my wife, our daughters are involved. Everybody's involved. My oldest son does the clutch on it, and 2 weeks ago we started teaching him to drive the Nostalgia car. So it's a family thing, and we just want to keep your family close and keep him doing stuff.
What is the biggest piece of advice you hope he acknowledges going into his past?
I always tell my son to take your time and think, because no matter what happens in one of these race cars, if you keep your wits about and you think, usually you can find your way out without getting hurt. Don't do anything stupid. Think.
Something McKailen told me earlier in the day, he said, the driver's seat is the most peaceful place for me. And he said, outside there's chaos, but once I get in the driver's seat, it's peaceful. How did you teach your son to find that level of calm in what could be considered the highest pressure position on the team?
I think what he did is just watched me all these years. Throughout my life, I've had to work really hard at speaking correctly and doing things right. And you know what I mean? Things were hard. And then when I started learning to drive that car, that was the easy part. The work, all the stuff was super hard. And I always found that when I was in that car, it was quiet, it was peaceful. They couldn't talk to me, they couldn't bother me. And believe it or not, when they lower the body, it is quiet in there and it's peaceful. And, you know, I guess he's heard me say it. I don't know. I'm lucky that he found that peace, because some drivers struggle, you know.
Just took a few minutes here in the grandstands while things are chill before things get like crazy to just take a minute and hang out, talk to God for a few minutes, and just make sure I'm on the right page, both as a worker, a driver, and a teacher with the dragster. I know I've got a problem with staying humble some of the time, where I think I'm better than I am, and it's something I'm working on and trying to not do. And so just wanted to take a minute and reset myself. And it's easy on the internet to show all of the good moments and everything that you do right, but at the same time, still an 18-year-old kind of stupid kid most of the time. So trying to make sure I do the right things and get myself in the right spot. So time to go back to work, because we got 3 race cars to start. Freaking awesome. Also, I'm driving a freaking funny car this weekend. That's the coolest thing on the planet. So just taking a minute to remember and appreciate that. Hopefully I can find some more tokens and keep playing race car. So another thing on the dragster, that when you're first getting someone fitted to a car, like we've got a couple of seat inserts for our cars, and then I found a couple of friends that I borrowed some seat inserts for, so we're figuring out which one fits Bernie the best and adjusting the belts and making sure that he's safe in the car, because like he's used to being in sportsman cars where the belts aren't quite as tight, and they're pretty freaking tight, so we're making sure he's safe. Okay, so I am in the car. We are fixing to head up to the starting line. The past hour and a half has been kind of a cluster, trying to get everything last minute finished with the dragster and just getting everything started and out of the pit. But we're on our way up. All 3 cars are good to go, and we're fixing to do some racing. It's still the coolest stuff on the planet. So.
And Dad's standing right in front of him. Nicely done. Very nicely done. Straight as a string.
Yeah, you could hear him. He was anxious to get going because you could hear the RPMs rev up before the tree come on. His foot was creeping the throttle. He was ready to go. But didn't seem to affect the run too bad. And they had it calmed down pretty well for him. 477, 234. And it just went on down the track. That's what he needs to do, make laps, just get it down the racetrack and do a little practice and get it going.
I'm down here with McKailen Haddock. Now, I was talking to you before your first run. Your dad said you're just getting 1 qualifying session in, and I was like, you've got to be a little nervous, and you said no. When I put that car down, the driver's seat is the most peaceful place in the world. Do you still feel that that's true? Were you peaceful out there? I mean, 477, you got to be happy with that run.
It's peaceful, and I always find like sitting in that car, like Dad says, nobody can bug you, and that's just my time with me and God. I just get to sit there, watch what's going on around me, talk to God, and just have a good time. I've got a friend back home in Texas that always makes fun of me, saying, oh, you never grew out of your childhood dream of being a race car driver. Well, you're right, I didn't, but I've got the coolest job on the planet. Anytime I get to stomp on the gas of that car, it is the coolest thing on the planet. I don't care if I go 6 seconds or 3 seconds. That thing is cool, and it's the coolest thing on the planet, and I just got to say thank you to Dad for giving me an opportunity to do it.
All right, one more thing. You also said that your dad's a driver and you're just a steering wheel holder. Can you consider yourself a driver after that run?
No, ma'am. These cars, it takes so long to learn to drive these cars. I'll be a steering wheel holder for another 50 runs. There's so much that goes into driving these cars that people don't see behind the scenes. And I've successfully held onto the steering wheel for 10, 15 passes at this point, maybe. There's so much more into being a driver. I haven't gotten into any hairy situations yet, and once we pull some drifting or something crazy on track, maybe then we can consider me a driver.
Well, that's McKailen Haddock. He's going to be on crew duties with his dad the rest of the weekend. Terry Haddock, hopefully we'll see you in that car again.
Hopefully.
Congratulations.
That is pretty funny. No respect, man. Just absolutely no respect.
Tonight here at the Durana Raceway for round 3 of the IHRA series. First of all, McKailen, you made your racing debut earlier today in the first qualifying session. You won't take the second qualifying pass because A, it takes tokens, and B, you guys don't have the manpower this weekend. But McKailen Haddock making your debut here this weekend. I mean, how are you feeling? How'd it go?
That race car is the absolute coolest thing on the planet. You know, every time I get in that car, all of our pit is full of pop culture references. And if anybody's seen Talladega Nights, you'll know the scene where they go, Lucius, I got a little bit of personal information to tell you. And the rest isn't appropriate for TV, but that's basically how I feel every time I get in that car. That car is the coolest thing on the planet. There's so many ways to describe it, but your brain... You're not supposed to go that fast, and your brain just doesn't know what to do with it. You drive so much with your back and what you feel, and you just, for some reason, I just feel like I get it, even though I only have so many passes, and it's the coolest thing on the planet, and I'm sitting here with my fingers crossed that car stays qualified.
A moment ago, you told me you may have lifted a little too soon, which is why the MPHs were down.
Yeah.
However, if that car stays in position, which as of now it's 7th in qualifying, there is a chance you'll get to run it tomorrow.
That would be cool. It'll be very chaotic.
Have you confirmed that with the boss man, with your dad?
Yes, I have. He said that I'd get to race on race day if I qualified, but I lifted at 850 feet because he told me to go 800, 900 feet, and boss man holds the keys to that car. So if I do something wrong or screw up or don't listen, I get my seat revoked. So got to make sure I follow the rules.
But currently P7, are you praying tonight you get to race tomorrow? Is it in your heart to do it?
Absolutely. I want to get in that car as much as possible. It's just, it's up to God and see how the rest of these guys do. I'm going to be sitting up there with my fingers crossed.
So not to show any favors, but we may be crossing our fingers to see McKailen Haddock in the race tomorrow. Best of luck, and I'm so glad that you enjoyed your debut, guys.
It was a chaotic service with trying to help with the dragster, but we're up here on the starting line. Let's do this.
I'm up here with Terry Haddock, McKailen Haddock. We're going to see both these cars in round 1. Coming into today, did you expect to see McKailen racing with you tomorrow?
It wasn't our plan to qualify both cars. We were just going to make one lap to get him some more experience. So tonight he better go out and find some work, find some tokens to put in that car because that thing eats money.
That thing eats money. What are you going to do? Are you going to clean some dishes? What's on your game plan tonight?
I don't know. You hear all kinds of stories from like old Western movies about bank robbery. So if you hear anything in the Columbus area, it wasn't me.
Y'all just heard it wasn't him. Now I got to ask because our great cameraman, Roger, got you running after the car. Did y'all forget him on purpose, or were y'all just playing around with him?
What do you mean when we forgot?
They forgot him, and he literally was chasing after the car. Was that,
He probably did something stupid, and that was just poetic justice.
It was poetic justice. All right, we'll see you later tonight. If you'll hear of any bank robberies, it was Terry Haddock.
So that service was hectic because I kept running over trying to help the dragster best we could. But that run, the car shook and it smoked the tires, and Dad clicked it off. And both cars are racing on Saturday, which is pretty cool. I believe I get Jack Wyatt and Dad gets Dale Creasy Jr. So tomorrow is going to be fun. I am so pumped. Not good. Not good. But what do you think, Austin?
I think you better call your good buddies and make another crew.
Dragster guys? Funny car? Nah, that's cool. I'm so pumped. Now it's time to find some tokens, like I just said in the interview up there. So a lot of you guys watch this stuff and you see a lot of the behind the scenes of what goes on here. And the next few minutes are kind of more of an understanding of that. So we came into this weekend with the knowledge that Dad's car is car number one. That's the plan. We want to win the race with that car. So that car is the main priority. So in the middle of the service, that car was the priority. Went over and checked on the dragster every now and then, and their guys are still learning. It's so overwhelming learning to put these cars together and do all this stuff, and we taught them last night at 2 in the morning. So it happens. We didn't get that car turned around and ready, but they're doing a Chicago-style shootout for all the did not qualify cars here in Columbus tomorrow. So Bernie gets to race, I get to race, and Dad gets to race. So tomorrow is going to be a good day. Right now, what we're going through and doing is, like I said, this car is still number one. So we're going through and making sure this car is perfect, draining the frame rails, nut and bolting it, making sure everything's clean and shiny before we even think about touching that car. What's up, Tyler? And so we want to win with this car, and then that car is the second priority. So we're just working and doing our thing, and this is cool. I've got the coolest job on the planet, and I know I keep saying that every interview, every video, but it's true. I'm blessed to do this, and I'm blessed to know at 18 years old what I want to do with my life. So this is pretty awesome. Alright, I'm well aware that it's going to be a long night, and that this video won't happen if I don't do it now. Such a cool day today, getting to make my professional debut and getting to qualify for my first national event. The coolest thing on the planet. I am absolutely blessed to get to do this, and I'm aware how many times I'm saying it's cool, but I just growing up, racing was never forced on me, and I kind of just did it because it was there and it was easy. And a couple of weeks ago, when we were on our way to that race in New Jersey, it was 2 a.m. We were on the side of I-70 in Ohio, stuck in a traffic jam, headed out towards Jersey. And I realized that every aspect of this I love with my entire heart. And this is what God made me good at. This is what I love. And I'm so blessed that at 18 years old, I know what I want to do with my life. I haven't figured out how we're doing it, but in the next few years, I want to have both cars fully funded to where we can run all the IHRA races and go to a few NHRA races and just get an opportunity to do what Dad did when he was young, where just living on the road, and that's my dream. And I get that it's not everybody's, but I'm blessed that I get to do it. So we have a ton of work in front of us. I'm going to go back to the pit because both those cars got to be ready, and then they're doing a Chicago-style shootout with the dragster tomorrow, and so that car's got to be ready. But thank you to everybody who supports this, both me and Dad and everybody that's a part of this, working on the things and just everything. I'm so blessed, and I thank God for the opportunity to get to do this, and I'll see you tomorrow. Never give up.